We've been through this so many times. We were through this with Buffalo, El Paso, of course. You talked about Newtown. And we know as these mass killings continue, we're going to hear the same things. We're going to hear from Republicans that, well, our thoughts and prayers are with them. We're going to hear from Republicans, this is the cost of freedom. We're going to hear from Republicans, there's nothing we can do about it. There's nothing we can do about it. Why, if you pass this piece of legislation, well, that won't do anything about that shooting. And if you pass another piece of legislation, it won't do anything about this other shooting. We also hear something really gross from the same people who will desperately seek to find any crime that an illegal immigrant causes and then run it on their TV network for 24 hours a day. It's never time to talk about this, is it? It never is. They're cowards. They're such cowards. And of course, they don't want to talk about it. Just like January the 6th, like we saw in the focus group, they want you to forget about it. They don't want us to ever talk. When was the right time to talk about 9/11? Oh, I don't know, a year later? No, I would say a pretty damn good time to talk about 9/11 would have been on 9/11 when it was happening. On 9/12, how did this happen? On 9/13, let's make sure this never happens again. But these fools, well, they're not fools. They know exactly what they're doing. These barbarians, they get on TV and they say, oh, let's not talk about it now. As 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11-year-old kids now in our schools from Newtown to Texas are getting gunned down by military weapons, so mutilated that their moms and dads can't even recognize their faces. And Washington does nothing. Hey, Joe Manchin, after Newtown, you did something, all right? Do something. Joe, I'm kind of tired. We're friends. I'm just going to tell you, your old routine about, oh, it's always this person or it's always that. But Joe, why don't you get out in front of something for once in 5 years and start talking about what you can do instead of you can't do? Because all you ever talk about is what you can't do. You're a Democrat that got this right after Newtown. And you pushed with Pat Toomey. You pushed with him on background checks. You need to do that again. 90% of Americans support background checks. 90%. Almost 2/3 of Americans oppose military-style weapons. Almost 2/3 of Americans, overwhelming number of Americans, support gun safety laws that Congress will not pass. But here's the thing, it's not just that. What makes it worse is not just what Congress is not doing. What makes it worse is what state legislators are doing. There's a race to the bottom. We saw it in abortion, where a 13-year-old girl can get raped and she's forced to carry the rapist's baby full term, basically ending her life as she knows it. Well, Texas and other states are racing to the bottom. Florida, racing to make sure you can get a gun without training. You can get a gun without a permit. You can just go buy a gun, open carry it. This is insanity. You know who says this is insanity? Gun shop owners, NRA members, gun owners like myself, people that understand the power of a gun and want to use a gun, have a gun responsibly, that understand you need to go to the range, you need to practice. If you're going to have a gun in your home for protection, you need to know what you have. But these Republicans race to the bottom. Let's let 18-year-olds get guns on their birthday, go buy 2 military-style weapons on their birthday, and take every other sort of meaningful legislation away, regulation, safeguards away. And why? Do we think 90% of Americans? Do we think 50% of Americans want an 18-year-old kid who just turned 18, want him to be able to go out and buy 2 military-style weapons? To open carry in other states? To get guns without a permit? It is insanity. And this is what state Republican, let me be very clear, okay? Republican state legislators. This is what they're doing. And they're doing it despite the fact the overwhelming number of Americans oppose it. And Mike Barnicle, you know, it always struck me as strange that you had all these people who were supposedly for law enforcement officers, except when their side was were beating the hell out of cops on January the 6th. And when police officers said, hey, we got to cool it with like the military style weapons. We got to cool it with the body armor. We got to cool it with the armor piercing bullets. Suddenly these Republicans are like, oh, no, that's an infringement of our freedom. Like these people think that little kids getting gunned down in school, well, that's just the cost of freedom. These are, by the way, the same people that wouldn't wear a piece of paper over their mouth during a pandemic that killed 1 million Americans. There is no other word that describes them but radical, maybe dangerous, immoral. That it all fits. And by the way, yeah, I'm doing this the day after because you know what? Go back and listen to what I said the day after January the 6th, the day after September 11th. No, this is the time to talk. The cowards don't want us to talk. The people who are defending the gun makers don't want us to talk. The people who are, in effect, putting the guns into the hands of these mass murderers don't want us to talk. You know what? Now is the time to talk. And it's time for us to take our country back peacefully. But it is time to retake America. Take it back peacefully from these state legislators who are turning our classrooms, our churches, our country music festivals into killing zones, Mike.